All right, this is a reading about coming into alignment, doing a lot of work to feel realigned with you, your purpose. There's a strong pull towards it right now. And if there's been a theme with any of the readings I've been doing, it is about going deep and feeling what needs to come out, facing some hard stuff, whether it's internal, external, both. Let's go ahead and take a deep breath together. And I just ask that we're grounded, present, and open to receive messages. You know, it's kind of interesting. I noticed that click I just did, and it was almost like this was like a click to clear energy. There seems to be a lot of like noise around you, whether that's like your own internal thoughts, what a lot of people are saying, music even. Just a lot of like almost like overstimulated. So it's kind of like, I don't know, it's almost like experiencing like a big clap to like just clear it out. So however that pertains to you, let's go ahead and get 2 cards about what are you aligning with. The Devil and Queen of Pentacles. I got a couple different things coming up. Keep your friends close, enemies closer. But also, it's like with the Queen of Pentacles, it's coming into alignment with the patterns, behaviors, ways that you've hurt yourself, haven't shown up for yourself, ways that you feel like have disempowered you, and like giving love to that. I think it's really easy for us to be critical of ourselves and not even be conscious of it when we sit in regret and shame and guilt, and it just builds and builds and builds because it's all just building on top of each other. But the foundation for those things is weak. And I don't know, maybe I take that back. Because there's people that live their whole lives in guilt, shame, and heavier emotions without seeing or being able to use that energy to repurpose and recreate, realign, and integrate it into their lives. So it's tough either way, right? So as you work towards all of this, and maybe it's like it's kind of like, when you go home with yourself and you're like looking at your day, or like looking at the stupid things that you said, like, why did I say that? It's just like those little frustrations and the ways that we can like dig at ourselves when there's ways to find humor or joy or just being real. We're not a certain type of way because we did something or said something in a moment, right? So it's how can you be softer with yourself and reparent to just give yourself love, because ultimately, like the example of this Queen of Pentacles, which I threw somewhere back in the deck, she's climbing up a ladder, and I think it's like on a bookcase, right? But it's to me, the ladder is just like symbolic of how you're moving forward and keeping going despite how the devil energy has shown up in your life. And it's just like look at your coping mechanisms, look at the things that you do typically. Maybe old things are coming back up, but just to reiterate, it's just giving those things love, giving those parts of yourself love. All right, so how are you gonna do that? I don't know, that's up to you, but we can get some cards about it. What are you needing to help integrate the devil? Page of Wands. Got Temperance at the bottom of the deck. It's really interesting because how does the devil help the devil? I don't know. I think in this case, it's almost like just allowing yourself maybe to go to some places that, gotta be really careful how I want to phrase all this, because with the Page of Wands, it's almost like giving it, I don't know how to explain it, it's like giving it a similar type of energy to correct the energy. Just to I don't know why it's so weird to explain this, because I'll just use, you're cutting out sugar, all right? Let's say you're cutting out sugar in your life. Sugar's addicting. Sugar can feel good, but sugar can also feel awful. So, do you go cold turkey? I don't know, maybe you can, right? But maybe you don't have to cut things out completely. Maybe you don't have to be as strict or as hard on yourself when you do make those mistakes. Instead of taking a whole piece of a pie, you're taking an eighth, a sliver, a bite. So how that may pertain, it's how can you do those things in a healthier way and still receive joy and passion and love from it. And because the devil, we can look at that card and see such a wide array of ways that we can overindulge in certain behaviors or patterns and things like that. And so I'm not saying, like, if you have a problem with something and it's a problem, and if you have a taste of it, whatever it may be, you're going to go down that path again. This is for you to discern. And I think that's why it feels kind of weird for me to explain when it's so vague, because there is such a broad spectrum of things that do fall under, a category of the devil type energy. So just be careful, like earlier, like the first pool was saying, be soft, be nurturing with these things, and also don't take away joy. Like, allow yourself, you have permission to feel these things. And also look at, like, maybe with the devil, how you've stopped yourself from certain things is maybe the pattern, how you haven't allowed yourself to feel joy. I don't know why I keep saying joy, but you haven't allowed yourself to indulge in certain things or have certain things, and that in itself could be toxic. Like, you're robbing yourself from these experiences that could be good, but you're afraid. That's what this is. That's what this all is about, right? That's why the devil is the devil, I don't know if there's some saying, like, fear nothing but fear itself, so it's almost like that, right? Leaning into the fear. And maybe that's the more clear message. It took a while, I think, to get there, because it's not easy. This is not easy work. And I feel like this is a part of that noise that you're going with, like you're ruminating and going back into these patterns, and just really, really deeply about how all these times in the past, maybe you've allowed yourself to go there and you regret it, right? It's like you went into full relapse, whatever it was, and totally lost yourself again. And now you're here having to rebuild and reconstruct, and it's frustrating. And so this is where all that doubt is. But I think you're gonna be okay. You just keep doing the work and see how it's satisfying. See how you feel more grounded and confident. Not everything needs to be tip top and 100% to be in alignment, because we're constantly fluctuating and going through cycles and changes and different perspective shifts. So we just perfection is not possible all the time. Okay, I'll just leave it at that. So a couple more cards. We'll go ahead and close this out. Justice, the Empress, 2 of Wands at the bottom of the deck. This really was talking about bringing things into balance, right? With the Empress here, if you feel like you've been in a more masculine energy of going, doing, maybe in a sense that hasn't allowed you to focus on and integrate like divine order. Like chaos can be divine order, right? And all of this can feel very heavy and swirling, and like, you know, a lot of these like visualizations that I feel like were coming in, like with the head spinning and the noise, this is about like sitting in that storm, and just like, it's like getting like a play of your life coming by, and like some, like, so I was saying, some of those things that are coming up from your past about what you're needing to integrate, and how those things were maybe toxic to you in the past. I think it's recognizing how I keep getting like you're sitting pretty, and you know, people may look at you and not see that something deeper or chaotic, or you're doing a lot of this integrative work, because I think in an outward sense, you're already appearing that way. You're already appearing like you're reaching these next levels and filling into this new energy. And it's how your mind is needing to catch up with your body, because, which is, you know, interesting. There's you know, a lot of science into like heart math, right? And how, you know, we can feel things before we believe it, or, you know, and so I kind of think it's just that, like, if I were to summarize this whole entire reading, it's how you're integrating and coming in tune with your feelings, your depth, the work you've done, and feeling balance. Don't overwork yourself. This is a long process. Be soft. This is another message that I feel like I keep getting, like, be soft with yourself. Softness is beautiful, because in a world that wants us to be hard, in a world that wants us to shut down or close off, you've had enough. And while you can allow the softness with other people and allow yourself to see them, it's about having that humanity and love, leadership, dominion, I don't know, interesting, a lot of interesting things coming up for that. So keep with it. You're doing a good job. All right, much love.